discussion, and she's going to be the moderator. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply her skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. I wish Dr. Shanti Rekha all the very best. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Dr. George, for that message on the objectives. Please help me welcome Dr. Shanti Rekha Rao. Dr. Shanti, the space is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. Before we go ahead, I would request Zoom Master to please spotlight all my panelists. The first and foremost are, our DTM Harish. Yeah, the second one, youth leader Aisha Safair. Then we have Toastmaster Libby James. Toastmaster Parveen Sultana.
Please turn on your video, Toastmaster Parveen Sultana.
Toastmaster Parveen Sultana. Okay, Toastmaster Arzu. Toastmaster Parveen Sultana, please turn on your video. Thank you. And Toastmaster Arzu. Toastmaster Arzu. Thank you. Thank you, Zoom Master. On a timer, please note that it's a 40 minutes. So 20 minutes, you have to show green light, yellow at 30 minutes, and red light at 40 minutes. Okay, thanks a lot, timer. Yeah, thanks a lot. Let me pin the timer. Who is the timer for today? I can't see.
Toastmaster Sandeep. I have.
Okay, let me see his
spotlight
so that you can. Perfect. That's good. That's a great thing. Thank you. Timer, now you can start the time. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster, for that wonderful, elating introduction. I'm really humbled. Thank you, intellectual panelists, for coming to the session. Today, we are going to witness a powerful and amazing panel discussion. Basically, we will be having two segments. Firstly, we will have few moments for each of you to express briefly your views on the topic for the day. And then second half of our time, today we will open the floor to give the audience an opportunity to ask specific questions that you have been thinking about to help to navigate the discussion. So are the panelists ready? If yes, let's get started with the topic. The topic, can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Ladies and gentlemen, an important reason to assess students' learning is to find how well the students are learning and to what degree are they accomplishing the learning outcomes the academic institute hold for them. Assessment can be viewed as a means of helping students to learn a way of reporting on students' progress and a way of making decisions about teaching too. Basically, learning assessments is like magnifying glass. We hold up for the students' learning to discern whether the teaching and the learning process is functioning well or is in need of change. Long time ago, when my child was in UKG, she got us papers. I mean, it's on about marking the organs, you know, like she was there, like a ear was there, mouth was there, a car was there, and a phone was there. She marked, she circled all. But in that, she lost 2 marks. So when I asked Beta, why did you mark car and the phone? She said, Mama, in the car must be a person. Obviously, he is having all the internal organs. Whereas with the phone, he is using ear. So obviously there also you have internal organs. So why the teacher gave me wrong? I have no idea. Having said this, there have been many kinds of research in an educational psychological field that learning takes place in students' head where it is invisible to others. This means that learning must be assessed to performance what students can do with their learning. Assessing students' performance can involve assessments that are formal or informal, high or low stakes, public, individual, or collective. However, we have witnessed for many years that progress report cards have been only, which has only numbers, ultimate assessment to promote to higher grades, getting admission in higher courses or colleges. We have often seen that academic excellence awards, which are often given to the highest marks students. Many pieces of research and studies are going on about the relevance of our graduation system, gradation system in schools and colleges. There have been various discussions about the advantages and disadvantages of the gradation system in schools and colleges. And this is a very important area to be studied seriously, whether to stop or continue. Many parents have reported that gradation is incomplete. It's not possible to assess all the learning and skills of all the students using the same skill. Some skills cannot be measured, which is very true. And many students have stated that these marks are the major stress and affect student psyche. Yet, not it is possible to stop gradation, marking, or assessment to understand the progress. Today, we have panelists from different fields and segments to discuss the very pivotal topic: can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Once again, thanks a lot, dear panelists, for taking our time and coming to our show. I'm very sure your valuable inputs in this discussion will surely be beneficial and valuable for parents, students, and educationists. Without further ado, let's kickstart our panel discussion. The first panelist is DTM Harish. He is a proud father of 2 children, daughter aged 19, doing second in engineering, and son aged 13 in 7th grade. DTM Harish is a very seasonal Toastmaster, conducted various workshops on emotional intelligence, and eloquent speaker. He's a former area District 769, Director 69. He is very passionate public speaker. I welcome you, sir, to this panel. Sir, can you please throw light on this topic? The virtual floor is yours. DTM Harish.
Thank you, Dr. Shantirekha. First of all, thank you very much for choosing me to be one of the panelists and for this opportunity. Can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? Let me narrate an experience from life. I am, in my family, there are 4 children. I am the youngest. My eldest brother, I think he's listening to the speech for the first time. He's attending a Toastmasters meeting, and he's 7 years elder to me. He joined school, and when he joined school, there was a classmate. His name was Ashokan. 7 years after he joined in first standard, I joined the same school. And then it took me 7 more years to reach the 7th standard. And before I reached the 7th standard, the same Ashokan, who was my elder brother's classmate, became my classmate as well. And the day I cleared my 7th standard exam, and I was graduating to go to the high school, Ashokan made a decision to drop out from school. Because some teachers told him that studying in the same school for 14 years and not reaching even to 7th grade, it looks like studies is not meant for him. And today, Ashokan is a very successful businessman. And many of the students who are as bright academically as Ashokan, they work for Ashokan. So, had marks been the perfect benchmark to judge a student's performance, Ashokan's story wouldn't have turned out like this. It is obvious that there is something wrong. When I think about it, I think there are 2 reasons for it. First is, what marks measures are not things that are really relevant. I studied a lot. I was a good student, and I spent midnight hours trying to understand calculus. But in my entire professional life of about 25 years, hardly any time I used that calculus equations. So all that time I spent, all that performance and mark I acquired during my students' life, it wasn't of any use in my real life. And we can see that even companies, they recruit from colleges, what they do, they put them into training in order to equip them with the skills that the companies they really need. So I told my students, dear children, getting marks is not really important because it will not help you much. And life, there are certain other things. Then the students told me it's not so bad. If I don't get good marks, I will not get admission in good schools. In which case, companies will not hire me in the first place. For that, I need to learn things by rote and exactly reproduce whatever that is given in the textbook. This is the second system, the second issue in our education system, because the way the marks is measured, it is ridiculous. So for two reasons, I think the proposition is, the answer to the proposition is a resounding no, because the marks, first of all, doesn't measure the relevant stuff. And second thing, in cases where it may be measuring the relevance stuff like basic mathematics and all, it doesn't measure it the right way because the emphasis is on learning by rote. For these two reasons, I'm fully convinced that as the marks, as of today, it doesn't give a clear picture of the students' performance, and there are umpteen stories about it that we can cite. With that, over to Dr. Chandrarekha. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Harris, for throwing light on this topic. And I'm sure your children are there listening to you. So whenever next time the report cards are coming, they are going to quote the same thing. Marks are not that relevant. I understand, because the way the marking, the grading system is being done, it's according to you, it's quite ridiculous. And then mostly some of the companies, they train people despite the fact you're 95, you're the topper, or from the top B schools, they train you. Right. Now let's move on to another speaker. She is a mother of a child who is in the junior grades. She is an MSc chemistry and an excellent teacher. She used to take students for higher grade children. Her achievements in Toastmasters Club are third position table topic speaker in club level and third in humorous speaker in club speech in club contest. Currently, she is serving as VP Education in NISA Toastmaster Club. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Arzu to share your thoughts on this. Toastmaster Arzu, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. A warm good evening to dear all. I will start with the quote of Mahatma Gandhi. By education, I mean an all-round drawing of the best in child and man, in body, mind, and spirit. For me, marks should never be the only criteria to judge a student ability. Each student has a unique quality and differences. Grouping all students under a single umbrella of board exam score means being ignorant toward a person capability to form in a particular course and performance. Marks are only indicator of a student understanding and grasp of subject in a question, assuming a fair and just examination. For example, my son is a 5th grader. Whole year he's playing video game. But when exam came, before 2 weeks, he started focus on the knowledge, only the answers. And he scored 90% above. Oh my God, I was surprised. I asked, for example, one day I asked, which vitamin deficiency causes berry? He replied within a couple of seconds, vitamin B. I asked why this vitamin, only its function, what its molecular formula, how it works in our body. He replied, no need of this, mama, don't worry. I will leave no stone unturned to score 90% marks. Oh my God. Coming back to the topic. To judge a student, there should be performance-based learning because it will be an approach to the teaching and learning that a student being able to do or perform specific skills as a result of instruction, which would be authentic, and meaningful to the student. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful Toastmaster Arzu, for sharing your beautiful thoughts and really brilliant thoughts. Because according to you, you said that grading should be performance based rather than the marks. So even you do agree that marks are not the criteria. Great. I think our panel discussion is picking on hit. Now let's move on to our third panelist. Today, we have a heterogeneous group wherein we have a student who is going to share her take on this topic. She's a 12th grader with IIS Jubail, debate winner in school. She joined the Global Gavel Club in 2020. It's its starting year and served as its first vice president of education. She represented her club at the Sept District Conference for the Youth Forum International Speech Contest and was honored to bring home the winning trophy. Currently, she is serving as a current president of the Global Gavel Club. Let me welcome youth leader Aisha Safar to share her views on the topic. Aisha Safar, the virtual floor is yours.
Moderator, respected Sayyid Hamid sir, honored guests, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow eloquent panelists. We students grew up constantly learning the inevitable importance of marks. The most frequent question, the most common question asked to a student is about his or her scores. Friends, family, relatives, the entire society interrogates us on our marks. And that was the only criteria we were judged on. We, as a part of the student fraternity, are still sober, simple, and young. And the more sober and simple we are, the more we are subjected to our surroundings, the more we are influenced by the beliefs and opinions they share with us, the more long-lasting effect it has on us. And because of this subjection, from a young age, it is drilled onto our subconsciousness that if we do not get good marks, our future remains a fog. It is instilled onto our brains that our entire future depends on a few digits of numbers. At 10th grade, we are promised a great future if we top our class. Then comes 12th grade, where once again the promises are awakened, then followed by college. Promises, promises, promises. If you score the best marks, your life is set. But once we enter the outside world, we are stuck, hit with harsh reality. We spent our entire life running behind a curriculum, not realizing what the world actually requires is talent, attitude, behavior, ability, skill, and knowledge. We forget to develop ourselves as people, to strengthen our personality and creativity. We prioritize cramming a few syllables and scoring instead of practical application. The civil service examinations are one of the most decorated and dignified examinations of India. I'm sure most of you will agree with me. A selection for the future leaders of India. In such an important process, it is not the top scorers who qualify, but the top performers. And my friends, there is a significant difference between the two. But that is the difference that creates India's great leaders. Every individual is unique, possessing certain qualitative differences. Sheltering them under a single parameter, that is marks, means confining those discrete talents, ignoring the future those talents can bring to that individual. The classroom is too small of a place to judge a child's brilliance. In India, people first become engineers and then decide what to do with life. All because when they were young, they gave into pressure believing marks and status and scores only mattered. all the subjection around the society traps them in a vicious bubble where grades reign over knowledge and ability. I would like to conclude my words by saying that choosing marks as a benchmark to judge a student hampers them as an individual, as a person, as a human. Because every individual lies in different spheres of intelligence, and they are geniuses in their respective spheres. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life believing it is useless. Moderator.
Thank you, Youth Leader Aisha Safar, for such a remarkable views about to distinguish between a performer and achiever. I do agree with you. Many of the students, they undergo depression because they are not getting good marks. It's not that they don't have ability, but I have seen because of they don't get good marks. And many a times in schools and at home, they are being judged. You are a good person because you got full marks. So a good child is synonym of getting good marks. Good. You have thrown this right on this one. I'm sure all the educationists who are attending today are going to take a note of it and bring a revolution. Let's go ahead. Now we have another enthusiastic and amicable mother of a child who is in higher grade. She is BSc Physics with MBA in HR, a former software employee, nowadays domestic engineer, wonderful, a mother of 2 sons, and a freelancer for educational websites. Toastmaster Parveen, welcome to our panel discussion. You have a son who is going to be in professional life soon. So what's your view on this topic? Toastmaster Parveen, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you for the delightful introduction, Dr. Shanti Rekha. Assalamu alaikum and an energetic evening to Periyar Toastmasters and other fellow Toastmasters. Grouping all the students under one umbrella of scores is being oblivion to the fact of the person's capability. Imagine selecting a creative designer based on his marks rather than on his designs or creativity. Isn't that absolutely absurd? Yes, I agree. To some extent, marks tell us how much hard work that you have put on that particular exam, but not on your capability. Marks show your present status. Like, for example, if somebody has topped their 10th board exam, does that mean that he will surely top his 12th boards too? Not at all. Some students may not like studying, but that does not mean they are dull and they lack creativity. I do not like the benchmark concept, and I keep iterating this to my son too. But yes, to a certain extent, you may impose this benchmark, but we must know when to strike a healthy balance. Marks is always not the thing. We do not go to schools to keep scoring and get marks. We go to school for gaining knowledge. Choosing to have the score as the criteria for selecting the students hampers the dreams of those who are good at practical application of knowledge. But they are not be good at practical application, but they are equally good at making marks. Practical application is more important than cramming and scoring. Some students can apply whatever they have learned very effectively, but at the same time, they may not be able to score marks. That is not their cup of tea. Our goal should be knowledge. For life itself is an endless pursuit of knowledge. Coming back to the question that is posed to me, exams and the resulting marks. Yes, they do give a fair idea about a student's performance in academics and his ability to handle pressure. But do you know, despite all of these, India has emerged as the information technology powerhouse and has a beeline of reputed IITs. Yet, India has failed to produce a scientist receiving the most coveted prize. Because India is lagging in science and technology compared to the developed countries. India has only 140 researchers per 10 lakh of population compared to the 4,651 researchers in the US. And investing in science and technology, China invests about 4 times more than India. and a whooping 75 times more by the United States of America. Therefore, to conclude, I would want to leave with a food of thought. I would say the marks being the only criteria is like judging a fish by its ability to fly and a bird by its ability to swim. Thank you everyone for the undivided attention and Dr. Shanti Rekha for letting me voice out my views.
Thank you, Toastmaster Parveen. Truly notable points of bringing a valuable point that they need to be a striking balance between the marks and the performance. And also bringing eye-opening statistics, which is truly remarkable. And it's going to be really, thought-provoking or an eye-opener, and to understand how we are going to evaluate our students, not only taking only the marks, but something different aspects. That's very good. So last but not the least, we have an educationist. She's working, she's a teacher working with IIS Jubail, teaching higher grade, class boys, and also a mother of boy who is 12, who is in 12. Teaching in profession is a passion. Social worker, and apart from that, she is also active member in Toastmasters in the Arabian and Jubail Malayalam Club, and she is one of the most eloquent speaker. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Libby James. Toastmaster Libby James, the virtual stage is yours to opine, to throw light on this topic.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti Rekha. The destiny of a nation is folded within its youth. Respected Syed Hamid sir, George sir, moderator, my colleague and dear friend Dr. Shanti Rekha, fellow Toastmasters, youth leaders, and welcome guests. Good evening to you all. First of all, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate Periyar Toastmasters Club, at the same time the moderator Shanti Rekha, taking the initiative to conduct a debate with an apt topic with definitely raise serious doubts about today's education system. Can marks be the only benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? As a teacher, my answer is a big no. As a teacher, I got opportunity to mold the character of many students in each year. In each class, we are dealing with nearly 35 students, and they are entirely different from each other. As our Said Hamid sir, once he told, like, even banana is comparing with orange child, why your color is orange, why you are not like orange, complaining, comparison. So here, these children are unique, each and everyone is unique, and they are different from each other physically, mentally, etc. But we are calculating or grading the children intelligent, average, below average, poor. These are based on the academic score. Okay, in each class, the students are divided into a different group. But dear friends, most of my very good students showing very good human values are from the large groups, very poor and below average. So how can I label them poor and below average based on their exam mark? Attitude towards the fellow being is very important here. The function of a true education is to build an integrated personality. There should be simultaneous and harmonious growth of body, mind, sense, and spirit. Nowadays, children feel education as a very stressful one, mainly because of the over expectation of their parents. In their life, the parents are unable to reach up to their dreams, and they are trying to fulfill their dreams through their child's life. Sometimes parents are comparing their achievement with their child. This will give more stress and tension to the child, and later the child who got more marks than this boy become an enemy of that child. So appreciate the efforts of your child and not the outcome. Later, the average grade child will score more in real life, and this will give more depression to the child who scored full in academic exams. Suicide cases are increasing day by day among our youngsters. The reason is simple. They are unable to overcome a failure because they are not given a chance to face a failure in their life. That lesson they got, what lesson they got is, if you fail, everything you lost. As we all know, education is the overall development of a child. Pick up the morals, the child is pick up the morals throughout his life. It is through education that we are molding our character. Nobody is born with moral content, in him.
That's really great, Libby James. You are coming up with a very wonderful one. Being a teacher, still you are emphasizing that marks are not only the criteria. Thanks a lot, dear. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Libby, for sharing. That's wonderful. Now, dear fellow Toastmasters and my panel, thanks a lot to all the panelists who have joined with us to really throw light on this a very pivotal topic. Are marks the only criteria, benchmark to judge a performance? Now, today we have an educationist. He's a father of education. I always term him. He's none other than Dr. Syed Hamid. Dr. Syed Hamid, can you please share some light on this particular topic?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
There is some technical problem here with my tool. It's wonderful, and good evening to all eminent Toastmasters and my dear students. Particularly Aisha is there, a wonderful debater of IAS Duel. So happy to hear wonderful Toastmasters. Particularly again, Dr. George is with us. It is a great honor. Well, I totally agree. And today a question was brought to my question paper or answer sheet was brought to my notice by one of the school teachers, because here schools have reopened. And the question asked in that and answer written by the child of grade 2, I want to share with you. Right? 2 sources of food. The child has written beautifully Zomato and Swiggy. So whether marks to be given or not was the question by the teacher. 2 sources of food. And such wonderful things they were showing me, right? 2 sources of water. And the child has written tap in wash basin and tap in kitchen room. Okay, wonderful source. Water is coming there also. So food sources, the child might have seen Zomato person delivering, or that Swiggy fellow delivering the food items. Anyway, the topic is so wonderful, and we have been discussing this. And a mighty board like CBSE brought in grade system instead of numerical marking. And there is no tool available with all of us here, educationists, no such tool available to measure the cognitive potential of human beings. Thanks to Libby madam, remembering my comparison of banana and orange, taking 2 things in our hands, in right hand orange and in left hand banana, and blaming banana why the banana is not red in color or round in shape, and also blaming the orange why it is not looking like a banana, very tall person like Amitabh Bachchan, is meaningless, because banana doesn't feel happy and orange also doesn't feel happy. Rightly pointed out in the opening remarks by Toastmaster and today's Toastmaster Roshan Patrick, that every child, every human being is unique. And Aisha has quoted, and Pavin madam also quoted, that expecting a fish to fly or a bird to swim and labeling them as not competent, they are going to suffer throughout their lives. Each child is unique, and Howard Gardner has given us different areas that we all possess, different intelligence areas, not just numerical intelligence, but he has listed out 7 areas of intelligence. So we will be very happy if teachers and parents do not put pressure on lovely children by looking at their marks. We all know Thomas Alva Edison was labeled as a very poor student and asked to leave the school. Even Albert Einstein was labeled as useless in the school, in the classroom. So somewhere we all need to be very serious about this numerical marking and saying that you are 94 and I am 95 and somebody else is 99. So 99 is the topper and 94 and 96 scorers become faceless people. So at least grading system was there, and again, I do not know, it was removed abruptly by the CBSE. For about 10 years, we had grade system. Grade system was slightly better because all those who are getting 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100 used to come under A1. So that was meaningful. 91 and 99, okay. Or at least 97, 98, what is the difference? It's a wonderful topic chosen by Periyar Toastmasters and also inviting such wonderful personalities, and I'm eager to listen to Dr. George. And I was very happy to listen to other Toastmasters colleagues like Libby James and my student Aisha. I would like to only emphatically say that marks are not true measures of any student's intelligence. So Aisha was very clear that it is not the score that is important, it is the total performance of the person that is very important, and that is what the weightage given in the civil services. So the performance, total performance, taking all these areas, prelim marks and main marks and also interview performance, plus the degree achievements, that is academic achievements, all total performance of the individual is taken there to label IAS, to provide merit list and IAS, IPS, IFS, all these things. So nice. Thank you very much, Dr. Shanti, for having invited me. And to all my colleagues, Dr. Shanti Rekha and Libby James and others.
Thank you. Thank you.
This webinar connecting to it from going to speak on teachers and how they have been the frontline warriors during the Corona period. They switched over, forgetting blackboard, blue board, green board, white board, smart board, all boards they forgot. And all these wonderful teachers, very particularly the ladies, the lady teaching staff, they switched over to this small screen, laptop screen or mobile screen. And they provided and they proved that learning cannot stop, whether it is Corona or whether something else, and they are successful. And we are going to honor such wonderful teachers who have contributed a lot to education, and particularly the learning gap was minimized by these wonderful teachers.
Thank you, sir.
Online classes. Now
Thanks
almost
a lot, sir.
states in India have ordered and the schools have been reopened, and physical teaching or face-to-face teaching is going on now. Over to Shanti Rekha. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, that your inputs from all, thank you very much. Your inputs all the way from India, you have joined to really give us some valuable inputs, because your inputs are the main source. Now the forum is open for discussion, which has already been done. And so once again, thanks a lot all of you and I really understand that marks are not the only criteria. Probably we will be coming with some system. The education system is going to come up with some type of grading system wherein your marks as well as the skills, and it's what Dr. Syed Amis told very nicely, that is called as multiple intelligence in 7 different areas. I may be good in one, maybe the other child is good in another, depending upon that. Even the education system to understand the aptitude, even the aptitude system has come into place, wherein I may be good in mathematical, another person might be good in the verbal. So all this taking into consideration, a person can be assessed. So all the best for your future, dear youth leader Aisha Safar. I hope that you should have this type of grading system to ensure that the best person should fit the best place. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster Shanti, for that wonderful discussion. I should really mention the total panels involved: DTM Harish Bhargavan, Toastmaster Libby James, Toastmaster Parvi Sultanas, Toastmaster Arsu, and Dr. Said Hamid. We had a very eloquent discussion on the chapter for the grading of marks. And now in today's meeting, I have included some 3 to 4 personalities who are unique in nature. My first personality is Srikanth Bala. It is also associated with the system what we are having. Bala was born as a visually impaired child to a farming parents in Andhra Pradesh. He did his schooling up to 10th standard, and on 12th standard he wanted to take science and maths as a mainstream. However, the college did not give him admission with the present system. He had to go for a case, and after 6 months of fighting the case, he was admitted into science stream in +2 with his own risk. And after completing his +2, he was denied an admission in IIT. That is the present situation in India. He, however, managed to got an admission in Manchester Institute of Technology, and he was the first student to be a visually impaired international student. After completing his course, he came back to India and started his own industry called the Bolland Industries, where he is giving jobs to physically disabled people like him and other disabilities. This is with the help of funding of Tata Group also. So definitely, Srikanth Bala is a unique person by the way he has led and is proceeding with the life. With this note, let me come to the second speaker. Our second speaker is Toastmaster Hema Harish. She is a passionate teacher, a loving mother of 2 children, and an avid word lover. She is attending a P1 Level 1 Project 1 icebreaking speech. The title of the speech is Lessons in Life. Her evaluator is Toastmaster Biju CR. May I request Toastmaster Biju to read out the objectives of the speech.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Warm good evening to all. Today, Madam Toastmaster Hema Harish is attempting her icebreaker speech, that is Level 1 Project 1. The purpose of the speech is for the member to introduce herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Time allotted is 4 to 6 minutes. Best wishes to Speaker, Madam Toastmaster Hema Harish. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Biju CR, for that brief introduction. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Hema Harish. Toastmaster Hema Harish, the virtual space is yours.
Yes, sir. Good evening, all. Stories are an integral part of everyone's life. So, I am going to tell you a story. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. The story began in 1977 in a small village in Kerala. In the month of May, a second child was born to a lovely couple. They named her Sina. Their house was near to a temple and a grove. There was a small stream nearby. They used to play and wash their clothes in the stream. The children played together and celebrated their life like the two characters in the famous cartoon series Bob and Molly. Thus passed her early childhood days. After 4th standard, her parents sent her to school 17 kilometers away from home to give her a good education. Sina had to stay in hostel. At the age of 9, she felt the hostel life was stressful. She was away from her parents and brothers, and the food served in hostel was of poor quality. One day she felt enough was enough, and she went back to home with a senior student without informing the warden. Seeing her daughter suddenly at home, her mother was surprised. Next day, when she went back to the hostel, the warden beat her a lot. From that time onwards, she went to school daily from home. Being a teacher, her mother helped her in studies. Her rank improved from 25th to 4th. This is the first lesson in Sina's life. Schools alone do not make good students. Most important is parental caring. After 10th, she joined for biology group, hopeful to become MBBS, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. In short, doctor. In fact, she became MBBS, Master Backbench students. She found studies burdensome and boring. For degree, she chose botany, as physics and chemistry was difficult and zoology was scary. There was a good teacher for botany. The teacher ignited a spark within her. She started finding the subject interesting, and she started enjoying the lectures and exam. She decided to complete her studies, and he completed BG and BEd. After studies, she joined as teacher in a school. Sina had learned the importance of passion. She wanted to ignite the same passion among her students as well. At that time, a marriage proposal came from a nearby village. There were so many similarities between their family background and even in names. The boy was skinny, looked tense, and was wearing a Gandhian spectacles. Sina was afraid of men, but the boy she felt looked afraid of her. Cutting a long story short, they got married. That was a new life. 3 months after marriage, her father met with an accident. He suffered a major head injury. Sina stayed with her mother in hospital veranda day and night, waiting for her father to regain consciousness. On the 31st day after the accident, her father passed away. It was a big blow for her mother. However, she slowly recovered from the grief. On the insistence of local people, she contested in local body election and became the president of Grama Panchayat. Sina learned from her mother. We should not allow fate or sorrow to confine and control us. Whatever may happen in life, Life moves on, so should we. 3 important lessons in Sina's life. 3 important lessons Sina learned in her life. First, the importance of parental caring. Second, the need to discover passion. And third, whatever may happen in life, life moves on, so should we. Would you like to know who is Sina? It's none other than me. My first name was Sina. Later, my parents changed it to Hema. To me, Periyar Toastmasters Club is really wonderful. I am looking forward for your valuable feedbacks, and I would like to improve my public speaking skills. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster Hema Harish, for highlighting and exploring the lessons learned in your life. That was an eloquent ice-breaking speech. My next unique personality is Dashrath Manchi. Toastmaster Ravi, could you please display the... Yes, this is Dashrath Manchi. He was born in Bihar, and his wife, while going for work one day, fell from the mountain, and she died because it was about 90 kilometers to take her to the nearest town hospital. After that, he decided that I will cut open the mountain and pay a road for the villagers to the city. So approximately he had cut 110 meters into 7 meters deep and into 9 meters wide. A road was cut. As a token of appreciation, the Postal Department of India has featured his photo in one of these stamps, which you could see on the bottom. So this is a unique personality in his own way, that he had given path for lot of villagers where the route was reduced from 55 kilometers to 15 kilometers. He is definitely a unique personality. Coming back to our prepared speech, our last speech is by Toastmaster Manoj. He is working as a regional manager with Wellflow Pug. His hobbies include traveling and listening to music. He is our immediate past VP Education. He is attending his P1 Level 5 Project 1, and the title of the speech is Inspire and Lead. His evaluator is Toastmaster Mehul Chowdhury. May I request Toastmaster Mehul to read out the objectives of the speech?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guest, and my dear kids. Very warm good evening to each and every one of you. Toastmaster Manoj is attempting level 5 project 2. The essence of the speech is about lead in any situation. The purpose statement is that the project is for the member to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer or other organization. In addition to that, the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his experience as a leader and/or the impact of the 360-degree evaluation. The precursor for this project is to have 360-degree evaluation and the feedbacks. Wish you all the very best, Manoj Kumar, for the speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehul. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Manoj Kumar. Toastmaster Manoj, the virtual space is yours.
A sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create, said Mahatma Gandhi. When I started preparing for this speech, I was a bit confused on how do I approach this particular project. Well, a lot of thoughts went through my mind. Eventually, I felt that the best approach would be to share my experiences when I was the VP Education of this prestigious club in the just completed Toastmastering year. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, a very pleasant good evening to all. I was elected the VP Education on the 1st of July 2020. Although a roller coaster ride, it indeed was a great learning experience. We all are aware that there are majorly 7 roles in the ExCom of any club, right from the Sergeant at Arms to the President of the club. And the role of a VP Education is of prime importance. Having said that, as the VP Education, the first and the foremost goal was to make sure that all the educational goals of the club are met in the desired time. The last tenure started off during the onset of pandemic, as we all know about. So there was an inherent challenge to conduct the meetings because all these had to be done online, making sure that the same or even better effectiveness has been brought into all the meeting club so that all the members avail the maximum benefit. As the VP Education of the club, it was my duty to make sure that the educational sessions were made effective. However, the question in front of us, or rather the ExCom as a whole, was how? How do we do that? The idea was to bring in maximum participation. Thanks to the technology and thanks to this wonderful platform, we could gather audience from across the globe who otherwise had lost touch with the club sessions. However, ultimately, the goal was, or rather, me as the VP Education had to make sure that the members enhance their leadership and communication skills. With this in mind, we as a team made sure that every member was given equal opportunity for taking up roles during every meetings and make sure that they give their speeches on time. Today, when I look back at those periods, I must thank the efficient members of the ExCom and the Periyar family as a whole, who actually gave immense support for the success of the club. And the result was there. The result was that the club achieved the President's Distinguished Club status in record time of less than 9 months. Moreover, we had a good number of contestants lined up for the contest right from the club level up to the division level. While having achieved the milestones before time, it was also mandatory on my part to take a feedback from most of our members, if not all. We all have been saying that Toastmastering is all about improving ourselves as a leader, as a communicator. So how do we do that? we do it by getting feedbacks from our club members, right? And that was the same approach I did. In fact, I thought of taking up this 360-degree evaluation technique to identify the strong and weak points within me. I approached few of our members in this regard, and the feedback I will soon share with you. But before that, let me just briefly explain to you what this 360-degree evaluation is all about. This is a technique which provides a balanced view of a person's contribution and performance within a group. The individual learns about his or her performance from the observation and perceptions of others. Let me reiterate that it has been a great learning experience for me, being the VP Education of this club. Few of the skills that I could enhance was managing people, planning the activities, and most importantly, having a roadmap to achieve the educational goals. As far as managing people is concerned, as the VP Education, I had to make sure that all members receive equal opportunities to participate in the club activities and thereby learn more. Planning was to make sure the contests at the club levels are held in an effective manner so that we have maximum participation and the best of the lot goes to the next level. So now, let me share with you the feedback I received from our valuable members. Let me tell you that the feedback I received from all has been very encouraging, and I must take this opportunity to thank each one of you who supported me in that. Few of the encouraging points which I have received has been in terms of my communication skills and my efforts to work in and as a team. However, we always say that there is always a room for improvement, and so there have been recommendations here as well. The recommendation has been to enhance my interpersonal relations. Now, if I talk about interpersonal relations, we all know that it's an integral part of our daily life, right? We all are working professionals and we understand the importance of having healthy interpersonal relations. Let me tell you, I work as the regional manager for a company called Wellflow Gulf. Now, this role of mine calls for managing my team, which comprises of the sales and operations personnel. In such an environment, it requires a great amount of interpersonal skills because I have to cut through them and understand them. As a salesperson, if I see, that becomes one of the very important aspects to be a good salesperson. Now, all that I have learned while serving as the VP Education and the feedbacks that I received from the members has motivated me and has helped me perform better and better every day in my professional life too. If I may quote a personal example here, during one of the operational meetings which was held early last year, we were trying to come out with a solution for one of the issues, but ultimately what happened is the higher management just came up with a decision and we had to implement it. However, just 2 weeks back, we came across a supply chain management and that meeting was headed by me. I made sure that there is a participation of all the stakeholders so that I take their opinion as well. And believe me, the result was absolutely wonderful. We came out with a cost-effective solution which not only helped us retain that customer, but we are on the verge of closing a big order. We all know that Toastmasters is a platform which encourages any individual to perform at their best throughout, and mine is an example which I shared now. So before I conclude, let me take this opportunity to urge you all to make maximum utilization of this wonderful platform and inspire others to lead by leading from the front. Because as Mahatma Gandhi ji rightly said, a sign of a good leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you create. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manoj Kumar, for that elegant speech. You had provided a glimpse of your tenure as VP Education and how your VP Education role has inspired and given you much more capability in your marketing professional. Really, thank you. Now, can I have the timers report, Toastmaster Ravi? Sorry, Toastmaster Sandeep, can I have the timers report?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Toastmaster Shantireka Rao took 37 minutes, 35 seconds. Toastmaster Hema Harish took 6 minutes, 28 seconds. And Toastmaster Manoj Kumar took 10 minutes, 30 seconds. All are qualified for the voting.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep Madhavan. All are qualified. Please cast your votes for the best speaker. All the present Toastmasters, guests, and children, please vote for the best speaker. Okay. Voting is in progress. Please cast your votes. Okay, let's move on. My third unique personality is a famous character. She is Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai is a Pakistani national who at the age of 17, back in 2014, became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Prize. And she survived an assassination for the cause of education for women. She also spoke in United Nations in 2014 and published a book, I Am Maulana. Definitely Maulana is a unique personality in the way she headed for the sake of education. Moving on, we will not be conducting the table topic session due to limitations in time. Let's proceed to the evaluation section. Coming to this evaluation section, the highlight of this section is to provide positive factors of the speech, encourage the speakers, and to improve them. That is the main motive. Today, for conducting the evaluation section, we are having a very elegant Toastmaster, Toastmaster Rajesh Balakrishnamula. Toastmaster Rajesh is working in Sadara and he likes traveling and has a good appetite for food. He loves to fish. Toastmaster Rajesh is well known for his humorous speech in Periyar, and especially when it comes to Rajesh, he is very famous for his speech with bottles. May I invite Toastmaster Rajesh Balakrishnan. Toastmaster Rajesh Balakrishnan, this virtual space is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for your unique style of presenting today. By the process, we are delighted to know 3 new people, especially Srikanth Bole. I was not aware. I am glad to know about him. So, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and all guests, a warm good evening. I'm highly honored and privileged as General Evaluator of today's unique meeting. One of the most beautiful advantage of Toastmastery is instant feedback to the speakers. And in that, everyone is gifted to get a constructive evaluation. One other major component in Toastmastering is developing listening skills. Throughout the program, most of the time we are doing listening. And in the evaluation program, everyone choose good words and keep away from criticizing, and that way it develop a good platform for learning. Today, to evaluate our speeches, we have a vibrant set of evaluators. To evaluate our first speaker, today is to evaluate Toastmaster Shanti Rao's level 5 and level 5 speech. We have DTM Dr. George. As you all know, he's a great professor and a mentor. And I noticed a unique skill in him during when I approached him to fine-tune my humorous speech. He given me very good tips. And after giving all the tips, he suggests to choose the best way, what I like. And which I think the best and unique approach by him. I even thought about Bhagavad Gita at that time, in that Krishna suggests all the possible path and he give it to Arjuna to choose the best way. So today, to evaluate Toastmaster Shanti Rekha Rao's speech, I am welcoming Dr. DTM George. The space is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator, for a generous introduction and recalling with gratitude what we did together in order to facilitate a very good speech contest. Congratulations, Madam Toastmaster Dr. Shanti Rekha, for successfully applying your skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. The panel discussion was well organized, well moderated. You set the tone, kept the panelists on topic, and almost very carefully ran the panel discussion by keeping the members on topic. Well, what I found throughout the panel discussion was clarity, a great attention to detail, and excellent demonstration of public speaking skills. Congratulations. Now, a panel discussion has to have a well-organized structure. For that purpose, first, you introduce the panelist in your own style, inimitable style. You alerted the timer. You explain the structure of the discussion itself so that it has to follow certain norms of a very good panel discussion. And you did that. And more importantly, you motivated the panelists by giving enthralling introductions to each one of the participants. And then the next part of the panel discussion is usually introducing the topic. You introduce the topic very unambiguously. That's very important, so that everybody could figure out what the panelists were about to talk about. Can marks be the benchmark or criteria to judge a student's performance? And then, as part of the introduction, you set the ball in motion with a personal story. The story was beautiful, and we were all able to relate to that story. And then you just called upon each one of the panelists, starting with DTM Harish. Well, he was well introduced, and DTM Harish came up with the personal story, highlighted the inherent evils of this grading and marking system, followed by Toastmaster Arzu. Toastmaster Arzu just very carefully placed her argument by laying special emphasis on competence and skills-based performance rather than on the basis of marks, and so on and so forth. Then came the youth leader, Aisha. She was also completely against the motion, and she said marks do not support real life. And followed by Toastmaster Parveen Sultana, grouping all students under one umbrella is not a good idea. And finally, Toastmaster Libby, as a teacher, she said no students should be forced to score marks, and so on and so forth. And as part of the panel discussion, you also invited Dr. Syed Hamid to express his views eloquently and effectively on the given topic for the panel discussion. You also concluded, my suggestions for improvement are only two. Number one, you could have fielded some questions from the audience members. And second one of the panelists could have been persuaded to think laterally in order to provoke alternative thinking, by asking that particular panelist to speak in favor of the motion, so that we could have had heterogeneous views expressed across the panel discussion. Apart from that, it was an effective panel discussion, very eloquently conducted by Dr. Shanti Rekha. Congratulations, Madam Toastmaster Shanti Rekha, on a job well done. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir, for your wonderful feedback.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful evaluation as said by Toastmaster Shanti Rekha. And I hope she will implement your great tips in the future sessions. By saying that, we will move to little different to our grammarian and wordmaster report, because our grammarian and wordmaster today is Sabu Cletus. He's attending from India, so he have some other engagements. And congrats him for his new and wonderful home at this moment. Over to you, Toastmaster Sabu Cletus.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Rajesh Balakrishnan. So, sorry for the interruption. So, because here, not the time, because my mobile data is going to be finished. So, before that, I need to complete my assignment. That's only I request you to call me a little early. Thank you very much. So today my word of the day is eloquent. So most of them are used the word. I'm so happy. Around 10 times the word was used. I'm not mentioning the names of the Toastmasters who use the word. And I'm very happy. So I request you all, please use this word in your conversation, day-to-day life. And another one is that the grammarian. So I notice some of the good usages. That's let me say a few of them. I can't do anything, so that's very good. No lessons in life. Celebrate their life. Parental care. Need to discover passion. Better late than never. Call it a day. Piece of cake. So and so. So these are the beautiful phrases and idioms I observed during the meeting. So unfortunately, I didn't find any not so bad usages because we all are Toastmasters and professionals. But there is a room for improvement. So that's only we are here in Toastmasters. So I'm very happy. I'm so glad to be the grammarian and birdmaster today. And I express my gratitude to our VP Education, Toastmaster Devi Nair, for giving me such a beautiful and important role to play in this meeting. Thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster Rajesh Balakrishnan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sabu Cletus, for a well-conducted session. Thank you. So we are moving in our evaluation session. So to evaluate our second speaker, Toastmaster Hema Harish, her icebreaker speech, level 1, project 1 speech. Today, we have a great evaluator, DTM Biju CR. He is a project manager at Canus, and he is a unique person with lot of experience from Air Force. And many of you don't know he have a labor law course from Annamalai University, MBA from Amity University, and he also studied in Guwahati University. So a great person with a vast, wide experience. So I am sure Toastmaster Hema Harish will get great insight by the evaluation. So over to you, DTM Bijusia.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, for the elevated introduction. Congratulations, Speaker, Madam Toastmaster Hema Harish, for your elegant speech, the icebreaker. Congratulations. As icebreaker speech, you met all the objectives. As this speech project is concerned, I don't have any recommendation because, in fact, I felt it's not like an icebreaker speech. It is a higher project speech. In fact, I felt for it because of the speech was, if I say in a brief way, it was inspiring, interesting, and a persuasive speech. Normally, in the icebreaker speech, a speaker is very difficult to convey and somehow will summarize and go, but you have given wonderful messages, beautiful messages that we will carry to home. That the 3 messages you have given: the importance of parental caring, have passion to pursue anything in life, and whatever happened in life, face it courageously. Very inspiring message. As an icebreaker speech, icebreaker speaker or a maiden speaker, it is really, really great thing to deliver it in this way. You opened the speech by saying that childhood life is very passionate for everyone. Very well crafted speech. You explain about your home, the location, the beautiful stream, and that is the way a speaker, you are taking the audience to your own tune of speech. Congratulations. And there is a twist in the story that was very interesting. And we are listening. Who is Sheena? You are talking. Never it's come that the Hema is coming on the line. I was thinking that it is your sister, but and finally you concluded that it is Hema. It was really a good twist in the story, and it was very interesting. And what you achieved the purpose, what you intended to convey. That is the messages. You organize it very well and very smooth transition in the speech. Your life, each stages comes into your hostel life, your college life, and your marriage life. The most interesting thing about your speech is your narrative skill, the effective expression of humor. That was really a good thing or very interesting thing for a speaker. We can catch the audience very easily. You talk about the expansion of MBBS, then your spouse, like Gandhian glass. In fact, he is afraid of me instead of what I was panicked by seeing him. So it was a very good thing to learn about it as a speaker. And my recommendation is, there is only two recommendations, that is in the future speeches, the vocal variety, so that you can emphasize more on your messages, and the eye contact. Even in the Zoom platform, we can see on the camera that will have an effectiveness of a speaker to look for all the audience. And by taking your narrative skill and humor and the strength as an inspiring speaker, with correcting this vocal variety and eye contact, you can be a best speaker in the future speeches. Congratulations over it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry. Thank you, DTM Biju Sir and Toastmaster Hema Harish. There is a great potential for. It was a great speech indeed, and the DTM Biju Sr given tips that can be implemented to further go ahead in future projects. Moving to the third evaluation, to evaluate level 5 project 2 of TM Manoj C. Nair, Toastmaster Manoj. We have a great evaluator, DTM Mehul Chauhan. He's working in Sadara in engineering department. A simple person who loves traveling and gardening. He loves Baroda, and his favorite food. We can hear great views and tips from DTM Mehul Chauhan. Over to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator Rajesh, for such a towering introduction. In leadership, it is said that don't expect the favorable situation, but instead turn any situation into favorable. And that is a gist of situational self-leadership. Dear General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, and my dear friends, very good evening to each and every one of you. What an eloquent speech was that from Toastmaster Manoj. First of all, let me congratulate Toastmaster Manoj for accomplishing all the goals for level 5 project 2 in a unique style. Starting with the speech with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi is a key to glue the audience. You rightly touch the note of the audience and inspired them, as the title of the speech, to listen to your speech. The most important part as an audience is to listen to the personal stories. In your speech, you took care of that part very well. You mentioned your role as a VP Education. You shared what were your learning. Additionally, you shared what were your achievements, and that glued the audience till the end. In addition to that, you stood up and you speak. Along with the hand gestures you used were quite effective and eloquent. Since we are in a Toastmaster platform, it is my role to share my recommendation. One thing which I would like to say, that the title of the speech was Inspire and Lead, but when you narrated the speech, the 360-degree feedback evaluation was about the interpersonal effectiveness, interpersonal relationship. And the way you handled that was by taking the feedback from the different people. So the inspiration part was probably missing in the speech. So I could see if we can incorporate that inspiration part into the speech and the leadership part into the speech, that would have been a great speech to the next level. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. You met all the objectives, and I'm looking forward to many more eloquent speech and unique speech from you, Toastmaster Manoj. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mehul, for the feedback.
Thank you very much, DTM Mehul Chauhan, for that inspiring evaluation. I am sure Toastmaster Manoj will implement the tips in his future projects. So by this, we came to conclusion of the first session of evaluation. Let's hear from the timers report. Toastmaster Sandeep Madhavan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. DTM RJ George took 4 minutes 14 seconds. DTM Biju CR took 3 minutes 30 seconds. And DTM Mehul Chauhan took 3 minutes 18 seconds. Only DTM Biju CR and DTM Mehul Chauhan are qualified. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep Madhavan. Since there are only 2 evaluators are qualified, there is no voting is required. So we are moving to next session. So before moving to final proceedings of today's meeting, let me congratulate all the speakers, assignees, and especially my team of evaluators for doing a great job. Please give them a big round of applause. Now it's time to evaluate the entire proceedings of today's meeting. So the meeting was started at exact time, and proceeding officer set a very good introduction and positive tone. TMOD introduced and set a unique way of presenting and said especially about our past president, Dr. Abdul Kalam, and introduced 3 unique people in the speech. Speakers were very well prepared and conducted a very good education session. All evaluators were very positive with giving good points for improvement. The word of the day was used by many of the speakers, and the grammarian and wordmaster given good insight about the way it conducted and the main good usages. Overall, the meeting was positive and was well conducted. And about today, the first session was little like a different session. So there was a little time constraints, and by skipping the TT session, it was well conducted. The time was well arranged. By saying that, I enjoyed my role as general evaluator. Thanks our VP Education for this opportunity. By saying that, over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh, for that well-steered evaluation section. Please give a thunderous round of applause to Toastmaster Rajesh and his team of evaluators. Now, I will introduce the 4th and the final unique personality I have in my list. Is Jadev Mulai Payang. Mr. Jadev is from Assam, and he has converted approximately 1,360 acres of dry land across the riverbeds of Brahmaputra into thick, dense forest. He is known as the forest man of India. Even though he is not much educated, he is unique in his way, and the country has honored him with Padma Shri Award, the fourth biggest civilian award in the country. With this, we move on to the next section. May I call vote counter Toastmaster Ravi to announce the winners. The virtual presence of a president also is required for announcing the winners. Toastmaster Ravi.
Toastmasters and guests, warm good evening once again. Today we had a very tough, contest, and there is a tie. Actually, there is a tie between two speakers, Toastmaster Shanti Rekha and Toastmaster Hema Harish. So I declare both of them as the best speakers. A good round of applause for the speakers. And in the evaluation,
Congratulations, Dr. Shanti and Toastmaster Hema.
Thank you, sir.
And in the evaluation, both are actually there is only two evaluators, so there is no poll. So both are declared as again the best evaluator. Toastmaster Biju CR and Toastmaster Mehul Chauhan, both are the best evaluators.
Congratulations, DTM Biju and DTM Mehul. Congrats.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dev, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ravi, for that brief highlights on the winners. My hearty congratulations to all the winners and speakers. I would express my sincere gratitude to all the Periyarians and especially the VP Education for giving me this wonderful platform. Dear Toastmasters, please keep tonight's theme with you. When you are like everyone, you are nobody. But when you're different from everyone, you are somebody. You have to be unique and different and shine in your own way. You have to be unique in your own actions. And finally, there will be uniqueness in whatever you do. You are unique. Thank you for having this entertainment and educational section. Thank you and good night. Over to the President.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Roshan. Dear all, wasn't it a unique and professionally conducted meeting? That is the hallmark of Toastmaster Roshan Patrick. Please give him a loud round of applause. We had a very wonderful meeting today. Still, we have some distinguished guests because it is getting too late. They have remained throughout the meeting together with us. It is our pleasure and privilege to listen to them. DTN Shekhar Tiwari, thank you so much for joining us. Could you please share your views?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for invitation. Actually, it was wonderful, amazing how Dr. Shanti presented this one. But we should remember that second side of this coin. Every parent present here, they need good marks, because that is basic qualification. Means if you don't, your children is not getting good marks, means definitely the next step is very tough for him. Because I have two children. My son, he was very good in 11th standard. Then we tried to put him in Akash Institute, and for this architectural, he was very good in architecture, but academically he did little bit less. So since then he was facing a lot marks. Even they converted in grades, but still the grades are counted as percentage. So, but what I'm saying, they put it in a very well manner, definitely.
but we need to put in the system, change the system if we can change. I still remember Finland, they have, after 16 years, they have examination and all that. So that's one thing. And US, people are doing, the students were doing like in coffee shop, there are that count as he is a very good nice person, and they are getting admission according to that, their extra work what they are doing in part-time. So that's the thing what we have to implement, as these people are very good teacher here, so they have to put in our administration that we need this one. Otherwise it was wonderful, meeting was wonderful, but it was in my mind, so I just explained it. So thank you so much for having me here and inviting me, Dr. Shanti and Dr. DTM Harish. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, DTM Shekhativeri. Please keep joining with us. It is so much a pleasure to have among like-minded people like you. You know, we have a very special guest today. It's none other than my elder brother. I'm not sure whether it's my elder brother or my sister-in-law. Hadlalanan, could you please switch on the video? Hello? Looks like it's not connecting. Maybe they have just listened only. We have, I don't think, we do not have any other guests. So Dr. Shantirekha is our own area director and was one of our role players today. So I think let us proceed with the DTM Mahul Chauhan. You have done a wonderful evaluation. If you can share on 1 or 2 minutes what you have experienced.
Thank you, DTM Harish. And just a small correction: I am not DTM yet, but I am on the way to become one. Well, this is the topic which I always wanted to speak about. So the selection of the topic, I must say that Shantirekha Rao did an excellent job, because everybody could relate to the topic, and I always have the story that and the picture actually, that if you judge based on the quality of climbing the tree, then an elephant or a fish will always fail, and monkey will always be a winner. So yes, of course, the qualities and the skills are to be judged, but the marks are the easiest way of judging a student, and probably that is why we are having a legacy of judging students by marks. It has its own flaws, but yes, system needs an improvement, and probably that chord was touched in the panel discussion, and I thoroughly enjoyed the session today. And it was really a pleasure joining you guys with the star-studded evening. It was really a pleasure joining you guys.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mahul. And because what we meant when we call you as DTM, what we mean is that you are DTM material. That's the reason. Now,
thank you, sir.
Right. And Dr. Shanti, actually, it was amazing, and it's my personal pride that you have chosen our club to conduct this panel discussion. I know you are a member of 4 different clubs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, you know why I've chosen this topic is because of many reasons. Many a times students are coming to me and they are in such a bad agony, like because of this, and they are under pressure. Why? Because they're not able to score. And then many a times I always say in, mockingly, like if I become education minister, I'm going to change the system. So you please vote where I'm going to stand. So always I mock like that. So that's a real true reality. Like in Finland and many other places, they do scoring. I mean, they do the practical part. Like you perform, and then we assess rather than just the marks. By you learn and vomit there, and based upon your vomiting, you're getting the scores, and you have been, when your entire life is changed. Anyways, thanks a lot, DTM Harish, for accepting the invitation as for a panelist, and also, big thanks to all the Periyarians for preparing such a beautiful flyer where I was able to send to all my friends. Thank you. Thanks once again.
Thanks, madam. Thank you so much. And please be with us in all our meetings as usual.
I enjoy your meetings and surely I'm going to be there.
Sure, thanks. Now I think we can proceed with our official session. Ravi, is there something important to be announced?
Thank you, President. Next meeting will be on September 18 and signees will be informed later. And today also we have managed to have a very good meeting with innovative topics. And thanks to Shanti Rekha ji to bring in that wonderful topic, eloquent speakers, and thank you Roshan, especially Rajesh, Mehul for coming in at the right time, and I thank all the assignees and speakers for their wonderful performance. Thank you. Over to you, Mr.
Thank you, Ravi. Having completed all sessions, I don't think we have any other thing to official transaction to complete today. So with that, the meeting is officially adjourned. We can continue for 5 more minutes chit chat.